Hey, this is C&D channel. I'm Chris. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my predictions for Bellator 96, King Mo versus Seth Petruzelli, which happens on June 19th. As far as the card goes, I mean, it does have name value with King Mo, Babalu, War Machine, and whatnot. Prelims actually has a couple undefeated fighters like Mike Maldonado, Damon Jackson, Hale Butler, Brandon Halsey. So, Chase Skelly as well. So, could be, definitely could have some diamonds in the rough here. Overall, it's not a bad card now that I look at it. Like, I was kind of thinking, but now it's like heavy, because the heavyweights and light heavyweights of Bellator they're just not strong divisions. They're not strong divisions outside of the UFC, period. So, yeah, that's why I was like, but, look at the card. It doesn't actually look too bad. They definitely got the best guys in those divisions that they could probably get at this time. So let's get started. Muhammed King Mo Lawal fights Seth Petruzelli. Seth Petruzelli has in the past played spoiler. I mean, he is the Kimbo killer after all. Out of his 14 wins, 12 of them are by KO or TKO. He's 33. Always had some solid kickboxing. Has power in his strikes. Not the best on the ground. King Mo, 9-2 record with 1 no contest. He's getting pretty well known for getting knocked out by a spinning back fist from Emmanuel Newton. But, 7 of his wins are by KO or TKO. He trains at AKA. Some of the best wrestling of his division and just in MMA in general. This guy will chain different types of takedowns. If a single drive doesn't work, he'll go for the trip takedown and whatnot. His ground and pound's really good. His boxing's good. Of course, I mean, there's different opinions here. I know that in Bloody Elbow there's an article saying Lawal didn't lose because he didn't have his hands up, but because his stance was different here against Newton as opposed to other fights. Granted, it's just not a good way to lose in that way. Nonetheless, if Lawal fights smart, doesn't get caught, especially he uses his wrestling, I think he should get the win here. Next fight is that Jacob Noe fights Renato Babalu Sobral. I remember seeing Noe fight Seth Petruzelli, and I was like, oh man, this guy's gonna lose, and then he won with ground and pound. Solid record out of 11 of his wins. 5 of them are by KO or TKO. 5 of them are by sub. He's 32 years old, and Babalu's been around the block, man. 37-10 record. 19 of those wins are by submission. 6 of his losses are by KO or TKO. His chin is not holding up these days. He's 37 years old. He trains at King's MMA. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Really good darts choke. He's a veteran. His striking, it's not bad. Defensively, it's not great. But it's not bad. His chin is kind of fading. But otherwise, I gotta go with Babalu to win this one. Okay, next round after that, heavyweight tournament opening round. We have Vitaly Minakov fighting Ron Sparks. Sparks has some one-punch KO power. I mean, 6 of his wins are by KO or TKO. Has an 8-1 record. He's 38 years old. Definitely, with heavyweights though, I mean, there's a tendency to see them fight a bit older. It's not too uncommon to see someone in their late 30s. Shane Coleman's a really good example of fighting and still doing relatively well. But Minakov, I mean, 10-0 undefeated record, 5 wins by KO or TKO, 4 wins by sub. He's 28 years old. Geez, I forgot who he beat in Starsnov or something. Skarsnov and I think he beat a guy named Skarsnov in his last fight in Bellator. I gotta go Vitaly Minakov to win this one. Next fight is that Blas of Avena fights War Machine. Fun, to hear that War Machine's finally fighting at Bellator again. Or is it the first time? I think it's the first time. The thing with Avena is 8-6 record with 1 no contest. 2 of his wins are by KO or TKO, 6 wins are by sub, and all 6 of his losses are by KO or TKO. He's 29 years old and he trains at Machado Jiu-Jitsu. He does have some solid Jiu-Jitsu skills. However, War Machine, when he's not crazy, I mean, he's a good fighter, actually. 12-4 record, 7 wins by KO or TKO, 5 wins by sub. He is a finisher. And most of his fights, win or lose, end in a finish. 3 of his losses are by submission. So he's only been to decision once in his career. He's 31 years old. He has solid kickboxing, actually, and his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu skills aren't bad. I gotta get. He wrecked Roger Huerta in his last fight. I gotta go with War Machine to win this one, but you never know where the guy's head's at. I think he's coming off a stint in jail or prison, so he hasn't fought in a while. But when he's on it, he's a solid fighter. I gotta go with War Machine to win this one. And finally, I'm getting a lot of different stories here, whether this is on the main card or not. But we have Rich Hale versus Ryan Martinez for a heavyweight tournament opening round fight. Martinez is a good fighter. I like the guy. 9-2 record, 4 wins by KO TKO, 2 wins by sub. He's 25 years old on a 2-fight win streak. Solid boxing, good wrestler action, good takedown defense. The thing that scares me is that he's taking the fight on short notice. Richard Hale, 21-5 record with one draw. He's been in the finals for 2 Bellator tournaments, in heavyweight and light heavyweight. 10 wins by KO TKO, 8 wins by sub. The second guy in Bellator to do a reverse triangle. He's 28 years old. He's at a good weight class right now. He has some KO power. His Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is solid, and his boxing is solid. Because Martinez has taken the fight on the short notice, I'll go with Richard Hale to win this one. Okay, on to the prelims. We have Jared Card versus, I don't know if it's Chase Skelly. I'm just going to say Chase Skelly. And just to tell you what these prelims, they're kind of pick-em fights for me. I'm not familiar with a lot of these guys. I mean, I know Keith Berry. I've seen Cortez Coleman, Derek Campos. I've seen a couple of these guys fight, but not all of them. So, just to tell you, a lot of pick-em fights here. I've seen Jared Card fight, and Chase Skelly fight. Jared Card, 13-6 record with 1 draw, 2 wins by KO TKO, 5 wins by sub. 3 of his losses are by KO or TKO, and he's 33 years old. He was coming off a 3-fight losing streak to Jose Vega, Luis Palomino, and I forgot who else was the other guy. And then he finally got a win. With Skelly, 10-0 undefeated record, 2 wins by KO or TKO, 6 wins by sub. He's 28 years old, trains at Team Takedown. I gotta go Chase Skelly to win this one. Next fight after that, Keith Berry fights Cortez Coleman. So it's actually pretty hard for me to call. Berry does not have a good record, but he's a game opponent. 14-10 record, 9 wins by KO or TKO, 4 wins by sub. 6 of his losses are by KO or TKO, 2 of his losses by sub. He's 25 years old on a 3-fight win streak, and he trains at Rain MMA. Some good kickboxing skills. Cortez Coleman, 9-3 record, 3 wins by KO or TKO, 3 wins by sub. 31 years old, 2-fight win streak, and trains at Finney's Hit Squad. So it's tough for me to call, but I'll go with Cortez Coleman to win this one. Okay, next fight after that, Mike Maldonado fights Chavez Smith. Smith has a losing record, 2-3 record, with all wins and losses by submission. So he's 1-2 by sub, lost 3 by sub. With Maldonado, 4-0 undefeated record, 1 win by KO, 2 wins by sub. I gotta go with Mike Maldonado to win this one. Next fight after that, Damon Jackson fights Keith Minor. Minor's has a 5-4 record with 1 TKO, 3 subs. 2 of his losses by KO TKO, 2 losses by sub. So most of his fights, win or lose, end in a finish. He's 32 years old. Damon Jackson, 5-0 undefeated record. 1 win by TKO, 4 wins by sub. He's never been past the second round. He's 24 years old and a finisher. I got to go Damon Jackson to win this one. Next fight after that, Hale Butler fights Jeremiah O'Neal. O'Neal's record is not great. 12 wins, 21 losses. 2 wins by KO or TKO. 10 wins by sub, but he has 13 losses by submission and he's 35 years old. Hale Butler, 5-0 undefeated record. 3 wins by KO or TKO. 2 wins by sub. He's never been past the second round. He's 29 years old and he's a finisher. I'll go with Hale Butler to win this one. Next, right after that, we have Joe Yeager versus Brandon Halsey. Halsey has a 3-0 undefeated record with 2 wins by sub and 1 win by decision. Yeager has a 5-1 record with 2 submissions and 3 decisions. The only time I saw Yeager was in RFA against Marshall Cruz. He didn't actually show much. He didn't really let his hands go in that fight, unfortunately. I hear he has some boxing experience and whatnot. Halsey. I remember he fought in Bellator. I can't remember his fights very well, but I'll go with Brandon Halsey to win this one. Next fight after that, Derek Campos fights Brandon Gertz. Campos has a 10-3 record with 3 KO or TKOs, 4 wins by sub. He's 25 years old. With Gertz, 8-2 record, 5 wins by sub, 3 decisions. He's 28. I'll go with Derek Campos to win this one. And finally, Stephen Artoff fights Justin McNally. McNally has a 1-1 record with 1 win by sub, 1 loss by sub. He's 22. Artoff's only 21 years old. He has a 5-1 record, 3 wins by KO or TKO, 2 wins by sub. All of his fights, win or lose, end in a finish. I got to go with the 21-year-old Stephen Artoff. Okay, to recap, on the main card, I'm King Mo beating Seth Petruzelli, Babalu beating Jacob Noe, Vitaly Minakov beating Ron Sparks, War Machine beating Blas Avena, and Richard Hale beating Ryan Martinez. On the prelims, I have Chase Kelly beating Jared Card, Cortez Coleman beating Keith Berry, Mike Maldonado beating Travis Smith, Damon Jackson beating Keith Minor, Hale Butler beating Jeremiah O'Neal, Brandon Halsey beating Joe Yeager, Derek Campos beating Brandon Gertz, and Stephen Artoff beating Justin McNally. So that's pretty much it for my predictions for Bellator 96. If you have any comments, just leave them below. That's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.